fumble a bag. Fumble a bag, now I will not fumble a bag. Act like you know how this goes.
generous. Got a big house, that's my preference. Sitting pretty at the top, Mount Everest. Yeah, bossy, dripping sauce. Cast spells like I'm Severus. Puffing on the best asparagus. Take my sweet time, never in a rush. 'Cause I'm bossy, dripping sauce. Leo, rising, I am so inspiring. CEO, my title, my videos go viral. Take a good look at the fit, lit from my head to my toes. They all wanna sip of the drip, watch out when they getting too close. Turn it up, 'cause I come in cut. Say, don't you interrupt. Everybody watch me, gonna level up.
y'all, and welcome to the latest edition of the OH.Report video podcast starring me, the big kahuna, Brian Skoronsky. And you can tell it's summertime outside because all the kids are out and about. I mean, you walk outside my fence in the backyard, and it looks like a petting zoo of children. They're just all over the streets, hanging out, having a good time, and our high school kids are certainly having a ball. That's right. We're going to be talking some high school baseball today. We got 3 teams still competing, going to Akron coming up this weekend. I think that might be a record for us. We had a couple last year, 3 this year. We're going to be talking about that. The state softball championships went down a couple of days ago. Travis Berardi was on hand for all of those games. He's going to be welcome into the show here in just a moment to talk about that. Also, the NCOFCA All-Star football game goes down this Friday night over at Clear Fork. They're trusting Aaron Eckert to be in charge of that thing, so you know it's going to be a good time out there. He's going to be calling into the podcast. And speaking of Ontario coaches, we got one more who's doing some pretty important things this weekend. That's right. Mike Ellis of the Ontario Warriors is going to be calling in from practice in about 20 minutes or so. But for now, let's show you Mr. Big League Berardi hanging out with me here. And man, what a week we just had, and not just for us. I mean, we're just the guys documenting the experiences for these high school kids. Big time performances all over the place.
Absolutely. You're talking about summers here. I think I changed 5 shades darker from the 11 hours I spent at Firestone Stadium. Amazing softball going down there. We will talk about it a little bit later, but so many things going on. Track and field, state softball, regional baseball. We had some Ohio State Buckeyes yesterday that we highlighted on the OH.Report. A busy week, and the weather was beautiful for it all. But we're talking about all this Ontario stuff. We also have some Lexington connections here at the OH.Report. A new podcast that'll be right here, live and free on our airwaves. The Voice of the Village. You remember them, the 2 up-and-coming stars.
There you go.
That won the love over of Lexington fans, Austin Fisher and Levi Davis. They did so good calling those games. I thought they did a great job as well. Well, they're going to have their own podcast right here on the OH.Report. So what I'm going to do, Brian, I'll see you in a little bit, but I'm going to step aside and let them come in and, just explain what's going to go on here. So without further ado, Lexington's own Austin Fisher and Levi Davis.
Yeah, I told you guys, I mean, school is out for summer, so, I mean, these kids are just all over the place. We figured we'd let them in the building, and heck, since they've got some free time on their hands for the next few months, why not give them their own show? So, guys, the Voice of the Village, so happy to get this project up and running and off the ground. But first, dude, we got to talk about high school. Today was your last day of school this year. I mean, what do you even do on a random Monday when you go in, like, to close things out? What happened?
You golf. You don't go. You golf. That's what I did. I mean, I can't speak for his experience. Most of what I noticed today, the buildings were just empty, dormant. They tried to bribe us to get there with all these food trucks and stuff, but what can you do on a Monday? You're right. It's just... I
guess hit the links. Clearly, you at least play good today? Solid round?
We can talk about that on a different day.
Maybe on the podcast coming up?
Maybe that's
Levi, did you actually attend class today?
I did go to school today. Unfortunately, my mom made me go, so I went, played some dodgeball, a little kickball action, so yeah, it was a good day.
That's happy. Happy to hear that at least you got something out of it and you had a good time. So let's talk about the junior year and just put a bow on it since you guys are about to be the big dogs on campus. And give me some of the top highlights for both of you as individuals and then maybe also from the world of sports. Levi, you go first.
I mean, like you said, junior year is over, going to be a senior, so looking forward to next year. Get to lead a student section next year, so that's going to be exciting with Austin, actually, so that's something we're looking forward to, yeah.
Yeah, so they've already anointed you as, like, the 2 kings of the Purple Haze?
I mean, he's so nosy, they can't get him out of there, to be honest. So they pretty much just said, here's the crown, we're going to let you do this thing. And obviously, being my commentary partner, he's going to throw me in there as well. So, I mean, obviously there's going to be some stuff that he can't attend that I can't attend. So it's kind of good to have that, like, that co-presence between the both of us going on. So I like the idea. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to try to implement a lot of new things with the student section this year and bring some new ideas with us.
The top notch, the Purple Haze, always one of the best in the business that we have in the entire area. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys kind of running things over there. That's going to be awesome. What about sports-wise, Levi? What was your favorite thing that you got to be a part of this past year for the Minutemen?
I mean, baseball this year went, kind of expected. A little bit of a rebuilding year with the first-year coach. But, yeah, we didn't lose anybody. We have 14 up-and-coming seniors, so that's going to be exciting to build upon. So, yeah, next season should be a good one for us.
Yeah, and for me, I guess I'd say the fall flip side of that, playing soccer and everything. An incredible team, to say the least. What we have done, I mean, Coach Peter Tem has said it over and over again. It's not normal. It's incredible to be so consistent for so long and dominate the way that we have. And honestly, we didn't lose an incredible amount quantity-wise. I mean, you're never going to replace Al Depperschmidt up top. That's something that's never going to happen. But we also have 14 up-and-coming seniors. I mean, the class of 2024 is massive. Like, when it comes to sports, school, you name it, it's just there's so many students. Maybe it's just a Lexington thing. Maybe it's, like, county-wide. But there's just an abundance of kids there. So, obviously, the more kids that are playing sports, the better chance your team is going to be good. So I love what we have, though. We just have such a good connection. We play as a family, as a unit. I think it's going to continue into this next season as well.
Gotta love watching Minutemen soccer. Peter Tem, great on the commentary, too. I had him join me for one game for a state semifinal. So selfishly, if he's not playing deep in the tournament, Pete, you always got a side next to me. But speaking of commentary and speaking of Lexington, you two really made a name for yourselves this past year. You got dubbed the nickname the voice of the village. Only I think got to do maybe 3-4 games for us on OH.Report, and it was so good that another company complained that you couldn't do it anymore, and we're bringing that back in a different way though now. So give the folks at home an idea of what the Voice of the Village podcast is about to be, Austin. Through your eyes, how should we get prepared for this thing?
Well, it's, for the most part, going to be an every other week thing. We're going to try to be as consistent as possible starting beginning of July. We're going to have a ton of your favorite high school stars, whether it is current or former, come on the show. We're going to have Braden Fogel and Seven Allen. They're going to be on here together. And we're not going to take this very seriously. Our producer, Adam, put it the way it is informally professional. So kind of what the Pat McAfee show does, but less language, obviously. We're going to have a good time. We're going to play games that mean absolutely nothing. We're going to get to know their personal lives more than just their sports lives, because you already see all their stats and stuff on the board. But, you know, it's fun to see what they do in their free time, what's going on in their life, too. So I'm very excited, obviously, to do it with my commentary partner. It's going to be incredible. Whether or not it's just Lexington stuff or around the area, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you always got to have like that yin with the yang, the peanut butter with the jelly, or some type of combination. And for you two, while you're good friends, you can just tell by the two jerseys. Also, there's going to be some conflict on the show, I imagine, Levi.
Yeah, obviously, like you're watching right now, I got a Joe Burrow jersey on. He got Denzel Ward, so Cleveland versus Cincinnati. But yeah, like you said, commentary partner, so we'll get along really good. But yeah, we're super excited for what this holds, so hopefully you guys can tune in.
You already did a quick name drop for what we think is probably going to be the first episode, getting to talk to Braden Fogel, and now his new sophomore running mate, Seven Allen. If you didn't hear, transferring from Madison over to Lexington. Anybody else that you guys want to kind of put the feelers out there for and let them know you'd like to join them, have them join you, rather, on the Voice of the Village?
Well, we're going to try to get some stars, whether or not it is just sports or not. I mean, Sorella on The Voice recently.
Hey.
We're trying to bring that in. So some big names, some blue check marks on social media. That's going to be a big deal if we can work some things out here and there. But some former stars, too. I mean, everybody loves Cade Stover, whether you are an Lexington fan or fan of anybody around the area. Ohio State got to represent, so we're going to try to have him on here. I'm sure he'd be glad to do it, especially with a bunch of Lex students himself. And for those of you that remember, Joe Vore, 2016 quarterback for the Lexington Minutemen. He was an incredible football, basketball, and baseball player, so trying to have him on here too. So just dabbling in the current and former high school, getting the lens perspective of every age for the most part.
Those are great guests already. Anytime your nickname basically is just, for Joey, it was just Joey, football, basketball, baseball. You know you're a big deal. Cade was just in town yesterday. He said he comes home every weekend. I mean, what kind of a guy that's that big of a star that doesn't act like it and still rides the tractor? I think there's a lot of great things to come from that guy in the future, and I do hope that he gets a chance to see this and jump on the program. So we're very excited here at the OH.Report. Summertime means fun time, so I like, what would you say, informally professional?
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's a great way to put it. And you guys, you got your opportunity to do your first promos today. What was that like for you, Levi, just about 45 minutes ago?
Yeah, it was fun. Got some really good bloopers. So, yeah, something new for me and Austin both. But, yeah, learned a lot and got to talk a little bit in front of the camera. So, yeah.
I'm not much of a script guy, to be honest with you. I mean, as a play-by-play commentator, you would think I would have a bunch of notes and stuff in front of me. But
never. I
am more of a see and talk kind of person. I don't really plan much, which might seem like a bad thing, but I work on the fly a lot better, which is why I think this podcast is going to work, because we kind of have two halves of that that field. Usually he types up the notes and gets everything prepared, and that way he has a mental note of stuff, and I just kind of go by the wind and let it happen. So I honestly think this is going to be a very fun thing chemistry-wise.
Actually, very impressive to watch. I got to be your photog for one of those Lexington games. And you're right, no notes, just showing up. Didn't even have a roster in front of you guys, I don't think. Just going with it. So, obviously, the talent is there, and we're looking forward to showcasing these two gentlemen. I think we're going to roll it out probably about July, get things popping, and get the first few episodes out. Sound about right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so if you want to be on the Voice of the Village, if you're a big-time star out there from Lexington or outside, make sure that you contact these two right here, Austin and Levi, and look for that show. Coming soon, boys. Thanks so much for joining us. Get your summer started right. I know you got places to be here tonight, and then I don't know, what video games? What do you look forward to when summer comes?
Relaxing, not going to school. I mean, that's the biggest name of the game, right? So, yeah, going home, sleeping as much as possible. Got to catch up on that for weeks and weeks. So, I'm just going to enjoy it. I mean, I only got one more before I got to start thinking about college too seriously.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, so we won't expect to see you anytime before 11 a.m. on most weekdays, right?
Probably.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, guys. We'll let you peace out of here and start your summer off right.
Absolutely. Appreciate
Austin
it.
and
Yeah,
Levi,
appreciate
everybody,
you
the
guys.
Voice of the
Thank you
Village.
so much.
All right, we're going to give Travis a quick moment to try to make his way back in here on the set, and definitely very excited. Like I said, I got to work with those guys. My wife got to work with them a couple of times doing some Lexington basketball games, and they truly do have a gift for it, and we're looking to utilize them more and more on our OH.Report airwaves as we get into summertime. We're going to have some basketball stuff coming up. I think a 3-on-3 girls basketball tournament, and then the big Battle of the Buckeye State as well. We'll have those guys probably featured on there. But
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. How could
hi
you not
guys,
be?
I'm back. But no, sometimes you just got to go off script. Just explain how it is. If you have the know-how of what the sport is and everything. They're very well versed. Young men, I guess you could say, but young men. They're young men now,
Whippersnappers,
towards the end
right?
of their high school careers, but really excited to work with them. Very enthusiastic and excited to work with them. And that's what we want to do here at the OH.Report. We want to give these high schoolers a chance to, get out here in the media field.
Yeah, we want to give kids that are high schoolers a chance to be on our program, and then guys that are still the same size as high schoolers, even though they're adults now. I love this guy, so hopefully he takes it the right way.
I see him
That's right.
grinning up there.
We're going from Lexington to Ontario now because coming up on Friday night, we got the top senior football players from all over the area. They're getting together for one last night to suit it up as high school athletes. So the guy that is kind of in charge of making this whole thing pop, Aaron Eckert, the head coach of the Ontario Warriors, is joining us. What's up, Aaron?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Doing good, man. Sorry for the low blow. I don't know why I had to start things off like that. We haven't talked in a little while. There was no reason for me to go there. But we're happy to have you on here. Hey, you're in education. Your summertime has started. You've been in it for a little bit. How do you go about attacking those couple months that you get off, and what are some of the top things you look forward to?
It's just one of those things all summer where I get a chance to be with my family a little more. But I'm still at the school every day. We're training for football right now, so to me, that's kind of a full-time job in itself. And coaching some baseball teams for my sons. But other than that, we are full go into kind of football summer mode. And things I like to do though, I do get to go out to the links and hit that little white ball around a little bit, and we got some vacations planned. So looking forward to those things, but mostly just being with the boys, with
How's
my
the
kids.
golf game? You got a decent handicap when you get out there, or are you kind of one side of the fairway to the next?
You like Brian?
Golf's a funny game. It's I have a decent stroke, but I just don't get to play as enough as I would like to.
Well, Coach, obviously we got a huge event coming up for area athletes. We truly have the best of the best seniors that are going to be going head-to-head coming up on Friday night. Just how excited are you to be a part of this, something that's been going on for, about 50 years? It's been a while.
It's been a while. It's actually our 37th year this year. It's something that's, as a former player of this game, it's something I looked forward to. Some of those guys that I played in that game with, I still talk to today, which is a really cool thing. But it's, again, like you said, it's one last time to to suit it up and play with buddies and play with some future friends and play against some guys that you're going to play against in college if you go that route. But other guys, it's just the last time they get to put on the pads. So it's a pretty cool thing that we have here in North Central Ohio.
How are players chosen to participate in this event? How do you select them?
So that's up to each individual coach. They are nominated. So players are nominated by their high school coaches. And from that, the people that are elected to coach the game from our association, this year I believe we had 60 to 70 kids from each side that were nominated, and the coach then gets to pick his 35 guys that he feels would make the best team up for this game.
From a fan perspective, what do you think makes this such a spectacle of an event? Because it always brings out a nice crowd, and it just seems like it's all around just a very entertaining day of football.
Yeah, I think it's great for the crowd. They get to see maybe some people they wouldn't normally see. Last year, the year before, River Valley had a middle linebacker that was just knocking everybody out at the game. But being from River Valley, the Colonel Crawfords and the Mansfield seniors and Norwalk and Tiffin, they don't see those kids. So it's kind of an eye opener to look and see how much quality football players we have in our area, and we're able to showcase that night.
Also got a kicking competition that kind of sets the whole scene. It goes on before the game. What's at stake here, and how far are we anticipating these high school kickers to be able to boot that thing through the uprights?
Yeah, I think last year's winner was right around 55. So I mean, the kids nowadays, man, a lot of those guys have got legs on them. From Ontario, we've got 2 guys that are pretty good kickers going to be in that competition. A lot of it's for bragging rights. I do believe the winner gets a little prize, but everyone else kind of gets a chance to put their leg on display before the game and get things kicked off, like you said.
So what exactly is your involvement this year? You're not coaching, but you're kind of in charge here. What are they expecting you to do on Friday?
That's a good question.
We'll find out together, I guess.
Yeah. No, I'm the president of our North Central Ohio Football Coaches Association. So my job is more behind the scenes, making sure coaches have what they need from players, getting in contact with players that may need to turn in paperwork, along with Blackstone Insurance, who's done an awesome job in helping us with this game. But mostly behind the scenes, and on Friday, I'll be there to make sure things run smoothly. If there's a rules violation, because it's a little bit different as an all-star game, and you've only practiced for a week, so you can't have all these elaborate coverages and blitzes. So we've got to make sure that everyone's playing by the same rules. So that's kind of my job will be on Friday during the game.
How many guys do you personally have represented in the game from Ontario?
We've got 2 guys this year. John Mounts, who was an all-conference lineman for us this year, and actually broke the state deadlift record for his weight class this winter.
Whoa.
And Braylon, was 6'15". That's for a 185-pound kid. That's a pretty good pull. And then,
that's pretty close to my size. Well, anytime I get around 3 bills, I get real scared. So for it to be double that, wowza.
Yeah. And then we've got Braylon Boone, who is an all-Ohio defensive end for us. He's going to be playing in that game tonight. So we're looking forward for those 2 guys to have a memorable night that they can enjoy, and experience.
And you said you got to play in this thing a few years ago. You said you got some friends that you're still acquainted with. Do you have a top memory from the game? Anything really cool that you pulled off?
Yeah, I mean, the game was great for me. Kind of back to your comment early in the game, when we started the podcast here with me, the guy that I played for looked at me and, hey, where's the quarterback from Crestline that threw for 2,000 yards and ran for whatever yards? I said, hey, Coach, I'm right here. And he goes, no, seriously, where's that guy at? And I said, right here. So I didn't play in the first half as a quarterback. And the second half, we were down 2 scores and brought us back to win the game. So that was always a kind of a cool thing.
Nice. Well, you can tell you're a hard-working guy. It looks like you're out like in a wood shack where Rocky spent some time in the 4th version to get ready for Drago. Where are you today, Coach?
Yeah, actually, it's one of the rooms in my house. It's like a log cabin-ish room. It's kind of unique. but it's kind of like a second living room for us. It's got some. I mean, they're logs on the wall, so it's a unique unique room.
Yeah, for sure. You just need like a s'more, maybe a little hot chocolate, and like you're really set in
90
there.
degrees, hot chocolate. What are
well,
you talking about?
Maybe one of those hobo pies. You know what I'm talking about?
Ice cream sandwich or something like that.
Ice cream
There's a lot of
sandwich would be a
cabin
good one.
theme, Trav. Gosh. Anyways, hey, let's talk real quickly about Ontario baseball. I mean, everybody around the area seems to have the fever. What's gotten into this team? They enter their tournament, they're below 500. They're one of the mid-tier teams in the MOAC, and then I go watch them play in person against Shelby in that district semifinal, and I'm like, this is the most talented baseball team I've seen all year. What has happened, and how are they putting it together now?
You know, it's a team that last year, I don't quite remember the record, 16-7, 16-6, conference runner-up, and they lost one kid, talented pitcher they had.
Chappie.
And so we knew that they had talent. It was kind of put for them, kind of stringing it together, putting it together, playing together, and I think they've kind of hit their stride right now. And I went up to the regional finals at BG, and they played a pretty clean game, and quality pitching by Peyton Dugan, some timely hitting, and just kind of moving the baseball and putting it in play and seeing what happens.
Did anybody see this coming, though? I mean, I know you said they had all those kids back, but was there a true sense of belief, you think, in and around the school that the baseball team was going to do something in tournament?
I think everyone thought there was a chance because there's talent. But to make it this far, I don't know that many people, if you just sat 3 weeks ago and said, hey, how far are you guys going to go? And if someone had said, at least the state Final Four, I think people would have looked a little sideways. But, kudos to those kids. They're still grinding, still showing up every day, and with a chance to get better. And, at this point, all it takes is to be the best team on that day.
Yeah, so cool that they're just 2 wins away now from potentially making some history, of course, and winning a state championship, bringing it home. And I really like that this is happening for you, Coach, here in spring sports, because there's a few players on there, of course, that are going to be playing for you in the fall. So sometimes that championship mentality, I mean, it can get bred in a different sport and kind of translate.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great to watch some of these guys mature, handle the moment. So we're cheering them on, rooting for them. Take as long as they need to till they get to football workouts. We're all good with that. We had a Bryson Stutes who plays football for us, hasn't played much varsity this year, stepped up the last 2 games, put the bat on the ball, gotten on base. So, I mean, kids like that are, stepping up, that's all good stuff for us going forward as an Ontario athletic department.
And obviously, we're in your corner here at the OH.Report. Looking forward to seeing these kids at the state Final Four this weekend. But to reel it back in and let you get out of here, go ahead and plug the football All-Star game on Friday. What do people need to know if they want to come out and be a part of this thing?
It's going to be a beautiful Friday night, not too hot, not too cold. We're gates open at 5, kicking competition at 5:30. And the game starts at 7. It's down at Clear Fork's beautiful facility on the turf. And, it's a chance that we're going to have some local athletes competing for the last time. So we'd love for you to come on out and support our local athletes in the area and enjoy your time down there.
All right, that's Aaron Eckert kind of running the show on Friday night. So come out, see us, and if not, we'll have the live stream for you on the OH.Report, but we'd much rather see you in person, buying a ticket, out at the ball game, enjoying the time. So, Coach, we'll let you enjoy your Monday afternoon. Are you hitting the links tonight, or what's going on for you?
No, during the week I've got 3 little boys, and they all play baseball, so we're off to coach baseball or be at baseball games. So that's the weeknights.
All right, thanks, Aaron, man. Go get a dub tonight for the little guys.
All right, hey, thanks for having me. Have a good night.
You too. So, yeah, definitely looking forward to Friday night. I know that you're going to be with Ontario.
I'm going to be with the baseball
team.
team.
But the All-Star football game, there's just a different feel to it, of course, because I think it's almost like a business casual type of thing where they're taking it serious. They want to win, but at the same time, there's a lot of smiles and some extra activity on the sidelines where guys are just much more loose.
Except if you're the Shelby coaching staff like last year who coached it like it was the Super Bowl against Highlands coaching staff. They ended up, getting the victory too. Marshall Shepard that was the comeback from Marshall Shepard last year, but mostly it's casual, and you want to, you don't want anybody to get hurt, but you still want to see some high-flying offense and some big defensive plays, and I think we'll get that. We have a lot of great players, a lot of players that played multiple rounds in the playoffs. You have some Crestview players, Crawford. You have Levi Lyons from Danville, who came this close to a regional championship. Hillsdale has a few players as well, to name a few. Mansfield Senior, too. So a lot of playoff players from last season coming on here. So it should be a great event for you guys. Hopefully we get a great event there, and we get a couple dubs on Friday night up in Akron as well for state baseball.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to both of those. Yeah, I think there's over like 30 teams that are all represented in the All-Star football game. So if you're a fan of pretty much any squad in and around North Central Ohio, we've got at least one player that's going to be competing on Friday night. And again, we'll have the live stream for you. We'll have two different ones. If you just want to watch the kicking competition, that goes down at about 5:30, and then we'll have pregame for the All-Star event itself at around 6:45. I'm going to be on the call. I don't know who's going to be with me yet, so area coaches, if you're looking to be a part of the game, you want to slap on a headset and hang out with yours truly on Friday night, open invitation. There's plenty of room in that Clear Fork press box, and it never gets too hot in there. It's always always very calm and comfortable. Well, speaking of Akron, we're kind of waiting for Mike Ellis to jump on here, but I know that Ontario, they're practicing right now, so
hopefully we'll get him.
When they finish up, they're going to be calling in. But let's talk about some of the other teams that either made it to state Final Four competition and or had their dreams crushed at regionals. So let's begin with the heartbreak real quick and talk about those Worcester Generals. They did something that hadn't been done in a quarter of a century for that program. They played D1 big boy baseball, so it's really, really tough to get out of that district. They broke through. They were able to get to the regional competition. So we salute the Generals and a really fun-loving, charismatic team. But they didn't have that same energy, according to Miss Madeline, who covered the game for us. She said it was a little bit more somber and subdued, and it showed because they came up with approximately 0 hits in their regional semifinal game, not the performance they wanted to end on.
Yeah, it was against a good Medina team as well. They're a state-ranked squad. I think, had to use some of that extra magic against St. Ignatius, the number 1 seed. I think the number 3 team in the state in Division I. They beat them 3-2. And then it's a momentum thing. Medina scored, 5 runs in the first inning, and then the pitcher started to get going. That just drains you right there if you can't really answer back. And that's something we see with the Ontario Warriors. They were a team that didn't let that happen, and that's why they're still playing. A team would score a couple runs, but they'd immediately answer. Worcester was unable to get that answer, and it kind of, drained them a little bit. And sometimes, it's like quicksand. You keep fighting, but the harder you fight, the further down you go. But still, congratulations to it's Division I baseball, and to say you beat a team like St. Ignatius to get the district championship, that's nothing to be sad about. I mean, that's a great accomplishment, and the first time in 25 years to make it to the Sweet 16. So congratulations to that squad on what they were able to do.
Yeah, that Wildcats team was loaded. So were the Battling Bees, who, unfortunately for them, they got beat the regional championship in a really mysterious
very
way.
Bizarre play, and baseball fans would understand this. So it's bases loaded, 2 outs. With 2 outs, all you need is force out any base. You can throw it home to get the tag. You can tag any of the base before a runner gets there. So Anthony Wayne player, base hit to left field. Runner scores, touches home plate. The runner that got the hit, he went and touched first base. Guy on first went and touched second base. That's good. The guy going from second to third, he saw it get through. He saw the guy score. Halfway through, he turns and goes into the celebration. Rules are you have to touch the next base to shut that off.
You got to get a piece.
Well, Medina kind of didn't know that rule because, base hit, you think it's over. If the left fielder would have even run to third base and tagged it or thrown it, it's an out. That's a force out, and we go to extra innings. However, they didn't see it, so Anthony Wayne escaped. I guess you could say. Didn't we have that happen in the state championship game last year? Edison and Waynedale, something like that. I was asked, one of the other media guys up at state softball said something like that happened last year with Edison. It forced extra innings, and Waynedale was the win. But tough way to go down. But, hey, that's baseball for you. Got to be heads up.
And how can you not tip your cap to Owen Cavey, a no-hitter in the Elite Eight for him? But what I love about his story, though, is that he said his secret was there was an air-conditioned restroom nearby, so in between innings, it was about 90
that's
degrees
smart.
that day. He was going in and hanging out in the John and then being called out when he was done or ready for his duty. I don't know.
You know
Kinda
where
worked
else
out.
has air-conditioned bathrooms? Canal
tell.
Park. You know who's playing at Canal Park on Friday night? The Ontario Warriors.
Do tell me more.
Well, why don't we get our next guest in here to help explain what has gone on this Cinderella run. My call at the end is the shoe still fits because the Ontario Warriors still playing. And now it's time to introduce our next guest. It is Ontario head coach Mike Ellis. How you doing, Coach?
How are you guys?
Living the dream right now, sir. How was practice today? It's got to be a good feeling that you get to practice the final week of the regular season. For anybody in Ohio, you get to practice.
Yes, it is. It is a really good feeling. And I got a few more days to enjoy it.
And you practice today at 3 o'clock, the usual time. Is that to kind of keep consistency and continuity, what you've been doing all season long, not mixing it up?
Yes, correct. Don't want to fix anything that hasn't been broken.
And for you guys, pretty much everything's been working during this postseason. But, Coach, during the regular year, you were like right in the middle of the pack in the MOAC. Is what we're seeing now what you've been kind of waiting for and anticipating basically from the start of the season?
Yes, you're correct. It just took longer than what I expected. We have a talented team. It's just, for whatever reason, things weren't clicking during the regular season. But now everything has come together, and it's been a lot of fun to watch these guys play good baseball.
Can you put your thumb on anything specific, or maybe it's a couple of different things that has helped you guys get your footing and then build confidence? I saw you against Shelby up in Fremont beat them, and to me, you clearly looked like you had the more talented team, and there was a lot of confidence with that group. Where did that start from, and how have you continued to carry it on?
If you would ask the kids, it was probably started from a scrimmage that we had, inter-squad scrimmage on a Friday. And I was watching them scrimmage. Each of my assistants had a team, and as I was watching, I was getting frustrated just the way they were playing, but just the way they were acting. And so at the end, we're cleaning up the field and stuff and putting things away, and I told my assistant coaches to go up to the high school. I don't want you guys around to hear this. And I just kind of unleashed my temper, and I'm a coach who doesn't do that. I'm real laid back, so I think I shocked a few of the kids, well, the majority of the kids. But I think then from there, I saw a big change in their attitudes and the way they were playing. We started doing things good. We weren't quite there. But then as we were getting towards the end of the year, I could see we were starting to put all the pieces together. But I think the switch went off when we played Sandusky in our first tournament game. And, that last inning, bottom of the seventh, we're down 3-1 and 2 outs. And, I'm sitting at third base, box there and thinking, well, I can't believe this is going to be the end of the season with this group. And they fought tooth and nail, and we came back to win that game. And then ever since then, each game we've just gotten better and better, and it just started to gel.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about that your almost journey came to a close before it even had a chance to really take off in that game against Sandusky, a team obviously that you were heavily favored to beat playing at your place. And then since then, it's been looking great. And Travis, you've been with them since the district championship game. What would you say has impressed you most about Mike's bunch? And what do you see from them that gives them like that confidence in that air? Because they definitely have it right now when they're stepping on the field. You can tell that they feel like they're going to win every time.
It's a scrappy team up and down the lineup. Any particular player in this lineup can get a big hit. I mean, Stutz, we were talking about him earlier. He had his pretty much his first career at bat was in the regional semis. He worked a walk for an RBI, and then in that regional championship game, he hits a chopper to the third baseman. He tries to beat it out. It forced the third baseman to kind of throw it a little bit faster than he wanted to. He overthrows it, a couple runs scored, and that helped that big inning to get them up to that 7-3 lead. So any player on that bench can come out and contribute at any time for this team, and that's what impresses me most about it, Coach, is just the way that it's a scrappy team. It's a team that if somebody scores on them, you guys can answer right back immediately before momentum's completely taken out of you guys. And I know I talked to you after the regional championship game, and I said, did you think this is the team that could have made it to a state Final Four this year? And you expected it, that maybe this could happen, and this is the team that you were looking for from the start, right, Coach?
Yes, it is. And I kept telling them, even, we were losing, back-to-back games there, that you're a talented group. So I can't fix you. You guys are going to have to fix yourselves. I mean, there's some things I can do, and there's some things I can't. And I think they just did a gut check and realized, we don't have nothing to lose. Our record, it is what it is. We're not going to win a league title. So, come tournament time, I told them, we're 0-0. Everybody's record 0-0. So it's a fresh start. And let's go out and show everybody who we are and how we can play at a high level.
Yeah, you've certainly done that, Coach, and you're 100% right. Once you get into the tournament, all bets are off. It doesn't matter what you did in the regular campaign. So now that you are moving on to Akron, what would you say you're most looking forward to playing in a professional ballpark downtown in a beautiful setting?
Just keeping the kids' nerves, to a certain level. Just talking to them, I want them to embrace, the challenge and being there and everything that goes with it. But, just take deep breaths and relax and just game.
Coach, I know, this is a big week. You want to try and keep emotions in check, but are you guys getting the chance every little bit to, take it all in as well? I know on Wednesday you guys are going to have a big community pep rally at Marshall Park. Is that stuff that you're allowing your players, kind of like let it sink into that they're one of the Final Four, they're going to the state Final Four?
Yeah, I do want them to, enjoy the ride. And so all those things kind of are part of the, the ride, getting the community. I mean, with the community on Friday was unbelievable. The fan support that we had, the kids were thriving on that. So, I'm hoping with a big turnout on this coming Friday at Canal Park. But yeah, I want them to enjoy it. Not too often you get to play in a state semifinal game, and so take it all in.
Also, have you gotten a scouting report on Washington Courthouse? They're the team that the Warriors will be playing. State-ranked squad as well, I think number 5 in Division II, but you just beat number 4. So, like you said, throw it out the window. But do you have a scouting report on them?
Yeah, we do. They have a really strong pitching staff. They have 3 guys that that can get up to 85 to 88. I think the one guy can top out at 90. So that has been the strength of their team. Is they ride those 3 pitchers, but they got 1 through 5 really good hitting, and then 6 through 9, they like to slap the ball. They play good defense, so we have our hands full. We got to play our best baseball, and I think we are. And I know the guys are looking for forward challenge in mind.
Well, Coach, we definitely believe in you. You guys got 3 pretty quality pitchers too, with Weaver, Dugan, and then Walters out there. So I know that you can hit them right back if they throw a punch at you. And then also, who else has a catcher that shotguns energy drinks? You got to love that. I bet keeping him under control sometimes and the nerves tempered with that one, probably a bit of a challenge, but any way that you can bring the juice, right?
Yes, whatever it takes. Whatever
All right,
it
Mike
takes.
Ellis, head baseball coach for Ontario. Really appreciate you jumping on here and talking to us, and we will see you Wednesday night. We're going to be providing a live stream for that pep rally, and, of course, we'll see you up at Canal Park in Akron. Looking forward to it, man.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Coach. And there it is, the state-bound community pep rally. Marshall Park in the band shell at 7:30. I'll be there. Hopefully this week I'll be able to get out to Ontario either tomorrow or Wednesday before that, and get a little preview video out there. Maybe I'll practice with the team a little bit, embarrass myself because everybody loves, I guess, watching that. The views go up when I do that, but I'm really excited. This is a cool story, Ontario. Peaking at the right time.
That's all that matters, obviously, in all the sports except for football, where everybody gets a chance to get into the tournament. These are the stories that we see, and they really remind me this year of a team that went to the state Final Four a season ago in Tiffin Calvert, who, guess what, big expectations this year, but they've kind of matched all of them. So it's been a totally different storyline for them. Younger team last year, they came into the tournament below 500, just like Ontario, and then all of a sudden, things started clicking. They started scoring some runs, and they put up some big-time performances. But this year, completely different. Just the 2 losses on the year. They're ranked number 3 in the state.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was at one of the losses, though, to Willard.
And they know that, and that's why they've adopted me as one of their mascots in their dugout. And it's been such a joy to watch this team perform because they know how to communicate with one another, and they're loaded with talent, of course, from top to bottom in the lineup. That's the toughest part about them. They've got 2 really good pitchers, but they have 1 through 9. There's not really an easy out. So this team definitely is state championship material. They were able to beat Warren JFK 4-2, a team that knocked them out a couple of years ago in the regional, and they hadn't forgotten that. The kids that were sophomores that are seniors now, they definitely said that this was a big one for them to get over that hump and get to redemption for that game. And guys like Mason Johnson right there, what a stud. He's been my MVP every game that I've been out and seen Calvert, and they've been very dominant with the exception of the game against Lake Center, where they were actually down heading into the 5th inning. But just one of those teams where they just seem to always know. They have little conversations in the dugout, and it's like, it's your time now. Get on base, and I'll bring you home type of thing. So I think that there's a lot of magic to this team, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do in Akron.
As well as state Final Four experience after coming back, beating Hillsdale in the regional final. They ran into a buzzsaw in that state Final Four game, but it's that experience, those seniors coming back, those juniors coming back, now have the opportunity to kind of flip the script and do something. They get Berlin Highland, though, a perennial state power. That should be a really good game up there on Thursday night. The 7 o'clock game, they get to play under the lights at Canal Park. That's going to be a fun experience for them. But despite them losing, it was an 11-10 game to Willard. They had the offense there. It was just Willard had one guy that could hit 2 3-run homers when he wanted to. That was the difference in that game. But that is a team, like you said, 1 to 9 that can hit the ball, 2 good pitchers, and that's all you need in a state tournament is when you get 2 pitchers. They can go the distance, you get the hitting, you're going to be getting a medal on Saturday afternoon or evening.
Yeah, they got a coach's kid in Coleman who's their number 2. Mason Johnson's been a phenomenal number 1 and probably the best hitter that I've seen in the tournament. He's been very, very clutch for them. So Tiffin Calvert, look for the Senecas for us to have coverage on Thursday night. We'll have updates on Twitter per always, and then you can have a awesome highlight from the entire game posted later on that evening. And that's not the only team we're going to be covering in the state Final Four.
And we have another mascot that is with the Waynedale Golden Bears. That's our own Madeline. 14-1 in a regional championship. They have both their pitchers back last year that won a state championship too. Wow, it was dominant what they were able to do in the tournament so far.
They're loaded from top to bottom. They brought everyone back,
Actually,
they
only
graduated
5 starters. 5 starters, but they're 2.
The 2
Barkman
pitchers.
and Otto. So, yeah, those other guys, they played. They were bench players. They came on because Waynedale was so dominant last year as well. But really haven't lost a step from those players that replaced a couple. They do have, the those clutch players that had his name slipping my mind.
Connor Gotti, man, who had the walk-off hit.
The walk-off hit, yeah, he's back in the lineup. You have their top, I think 3 of the top 4
Timmy
batters
Short
in there.
right there just had 5 RBI in a regional championship game. I think
and that's anybody in that lineup can do it.
Yeah, like 5 for 5 from the dish.
Barkman too. He can get some big hits, but he was the one that defeated Jacob Miller in that state semifinal.
Right. Got that
Jacob
head-to-head.
Miller, the major league, soon-to-be major league pitcher, his final game was a loss to Trey Barkman in Waynedale. So a lot of momentum, a team that has a really good shot at being back-to-back state champs. This really, really good squad. They snuck into the WCAL championship on the final day,
That's right.
beating Hillsdale in extra innings. But then once they got into the tournament, it's just the flip switched, and they're just steamrolling their way through.
It seems like this is the type of team that, not that they were bored with the regular season, but when you're defending state champions, you obviously have to have your eye on the bigger prize and defending. Not that they were putting pressure on themselves, but I think that they were probably one of those squads that were like, dude, let's just get to the tournament. We know that we can win the big games. We've been to all of these venues. We've gotten it done. And now they're back in Akron, where they showed out last year, needed some dramatic heroics at the end of the game in the state championship to be able to come up with a clutch win, courtesy of one Connor Gotti. And all the guys that you mentioned, they're back this year that were big-time cornerstone pieces of the squad. So when you rocket yourself into state off a 14-1 victory in just 5 innings and your pitcher, Otto's barely allowed a run the entire tournament. This is a squad that has to be the favorite in the Final Four to win it.
Yeah, no, hands down. They are the favorites coming in. And when you're a state champion from a year ago, yeah. And I'm sorry that 2 of those losses that they were at, I was there too. So that's why we gave Madeline. I'll just stick with Ontario, and I'll do the updates from that game. But I do think we have a very legit chance of having multiple state champions from our area by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, Ontario's got the toughest journey in Division II. Tiffin Calvert's got some tough matchups as well, but they just don't seem to get rattled, period. Waynedale, same thing. Anytime that they've been assessed with a punch, they've had the knockout punch. Yeah. So far this tournament. And they've been beaten in the regular season, which, it's not good to have losses, but it's also experience to know, if things go wrong, what can happen if a loss. You have that experience, you know what to do to change that. So, yeah, best of luck to them. I think they're going to be one of those few teams in OHSA state history to go back-to-back. Yeah, what an accomplishment that would be. I know that happened in softball. Yes, it did. This past weekend, Travis, you were out in Akron catching all day, my friend. All the sun rays. Day. Yeah, I noticed that you kind of went from like a macadamian to like a beech nut. You can see that red for sure. Cade Stover was impressed with my farmer's tan yesterday, even though I didn't do any farming from down at the Next Gen camp. But we didn't have any local teams other than maybe Strasburg that we covered, but I wanted to be up there just to highlight some of these great teams and some of these great stories. Let's just start right into it. The first game of the day was Division III. It was Wheelersburg, last year's state champion, undefeated, going up against an Indian Lake team that knocked off Johnstown Monroe 3-0 in the semifinal. It was Indian Lake's first ever regional championship, and that was their first ever state appearance, and Wheelersburg won, but I forgot the way I clipped these highlights. I think you're going to go with D1 first. So this looks like Austintown-Fitch.
Austintown-Fitch against Anthony Wayne. It was Anthony Wayne struck in the first inning. Austintown-Fitch had bases loaded with 1 out and couldn't score. Anthony Wayne then immediately answers with a run in the bottom of the first, and you're thinking, oh, geez, okay, here we go. But then Austintown-Fitch, after that, only allowed 1 hit, scored 6 straight runs. Sidney Watts, 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 12 strikeouts to shut down Anthony Wayne for the championship there. In Division II, it was Talmadge, a team that Bell Doughton hit a walk-off home run against earlier, Hillsdale. But since then, they have been on a roll, 9-0 over Canfield. They scored 5 times in the 4th, 4 times in the 5th, and another 2-hitter, Riley Jackson, 2 hits, only 2 walks, 1 strikeout. She let her defense play behind her, and they just came out and got the huge victories. You continue to see highlights from them, but some big games. Emma Garbinski, 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, 2 RBI. Sydney Becks, she's the 8-hole hitter, 3 for 3, 4 RBI, a run scored, and this inside the park home run that you see here. We actually had 2 inside the park home runs on the same day in multiple games, which is awesome. A lot of heavy hitters as well. But Talmadge just completely rolled Canfield, a team that knocked off state-ranked Steubenville in the semifinal, and there's the final out for them as well. But yeah, dog piles, all 4 games. You got to love that. We have state champions. The Division II state champs, Talmadge, congratulations to them. Now we get to that Division III game. Wheelersburg coming in at 31-0, Indian Lake 27-3, and it got off to a strong start for Wheelersburg. 3rd inning, they were no hit through 2. Then they got things going when the lineup switched back around. You see this 2 RBI triple from Katie Boggs right there. She ended up with 4 RBI on the day. A couple errors. Well, one error by Indian Lake really helped things open as well right there. That made it 4-0. Watch this diving play. Great catch by the right fielder, Riley Lang. She went 1 for 3. She scored a run. And then this big bomb. The wind was blowing in, too, on the day. But Boggs, again, she had 4 RBI. 2 of those RBI coming from that home run. Andy Jo Howard, only 2 hits. So 3 games with only 2 hits, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk. But Wheelersburg completed the perfect season right there, back-to-back championships, but also hats off to Indian Lake. Their first ever appearance in the Final Four ends up as a state runner-up, so congratulations to both teams. And the Wheelersburg fans really love the highlight. It's one of our best highlights that we've had in softball this season. Now to the big game. It was state number 1 versus state number 3. Strasburg-Franklin, though, going for their record-tying 9th state championship. Maggie Richards starts things off strong. A 3-run homer, 4 batters in. That set the tone for pitcher Amelia Spadell. You see Richards again in the 3rd inning, making it 4-0 with that run. But then Spadell, she struck out the first 12 batters she faced. How crazy is that in a state championship game? The record was 15 that she tied in the state semifinal. And then, let's just get 18 strikeouts in the state championship. The 3rd highest strikeout total in state championship history across all
the nation.
The leader is 24 strikeouts, but that was in a 14-inning game.
Gotcha.
Second is 21. I think that was an 8-inning game. But Strasburg-Franklin, 8-2 winners. Hopewell Loudon got 2 runs on an inside the park, the second inside the park home run. It was a tough break for them. But congratulations to all of those teams. There you see the Fitch home run again from Ray. A lot of big boppers there, a lot of defensive plays, great pitching as well. It's everything you could get from a state Final Four, and great crowds too. Nearly sold out. The 3 of the 4 games were nearly sold out. The 4th one was at least 50% capacity. So beautiful weather, great softball, and what a great way to finish off the softball season in Ohio.
Hats off to OHSAA for state softball championships. They always do a fantastic job. They have the best venue for it.
And they put turf in. This is the first year they've had turf for the whole field. So if there was weather, they wouldn't have to have it delayed or canceled or anything like that. They just have to let the weather go through. But no, it was hot. People got some sunburns, like yours truly. But no, it was great. The OHSAA was great with all the media as well. Tim Street and them doing a great job. But all around, a great weekend for softball. And hopefully that rolls over in Akron to Canal Park this week.
Well, maybe this is a dumb question because you told me a girl had 18 strikeouts in a game, but what was the most impressive individual performance that you've seen? Would it have to go to her?
Well, it'd be Strasburg-Franklin. Maggie Richards with the big home run, 4 RBI, and then Amelia Spadell was just lights out there. We saw her live and free in the Wendy's turn against Marlington. It was a good game, but no, she 15 strikeouts in the semifinal to tie the record, and then 18 in the championship game. I don't think that's something that we have seen too often in the state Final Four, just going up against such great opponents. For Hopewell Loudon, they were 31-0 going into this one. It was state number 1 versus state number 3. This was hyped up the last game of the season for anybody. A lot of fans that were thinking this is going to be a great game, but Strasburg-Franklin, a team that's won 8 state championships, has been there 17 or 18 times. They just, stomped their foot on that, squashed that immediately with that home run, and then Spadell shut things down. But what a great performance by her.
Willersburg back-to-back, was that the most impressive season, in your opinion,
Yes.
that anybody kind of capped off?
Would have been Hopewell Loudon if they would have beat Strasburg-Franklin, because
Sure.
that was a 3 being the 1 for the perfect season. But Wheelersburg, I was looking at the roster, too. Young players. They have mostly their team coming back. So this could be, they'll be in
Dynasty.
line at least. They'll be the state #1 team preseason, and they'll have a chance to maybe three-peat and be one of those, those dynasty teams that we've seen in softball over the last 30-some years.
Any team that didn't make it to the Final Four that kind of surprised you, that you had an eye on and you expected to see in Akron, and you kind of missed them? Obviously, Hillsdale Lady Falcons, big expectations.
I'm sorry, Ontario. It was
Yeah.
well,
Lady
first, not even making it to a district Madison, because they have one of the best offenses in the state in Division II. But then, Ontario, I'm still frustrated. We got to get Jake Furr on here to explain what happened in that regional, because I think I'm not trying to blame the way it was umpired, but with regional, once you get the regionals, the OHSAA has a representative there having their eye on umpires, and one umpire really threw off the flow of the game with Ontario with their pitching in the late innings, and I think it helped lead. It didn't completely lead to it, but I think it helped lead to the walk-off that came from that for Mommy. But I really thought after that district round that Ontario had a legit shot of making it to Firestone Stadium, and they had the pieces. It's just that's why you play the game, though.
That's right, buddy. That's why they throw that first pitch, and glad that you got to take in all the action, and hopefully you got
fun.
some aloe at home, and you're healing up.
It's not
You don't
that
look too
bad.
candy cane.
It's a little sore on the neck, but that was the only thing I got. I'm going, like I said, I got that cruise. This is perfect. I got that base tan.
Base
now.
layers
Don't gotta
down.
worry about it. So
That's right. So you won't become a lobster when you're on
No.
the cruise ship.
You gonna get some of your base tan down when you go to God's country tonight?
I think I'm going to be there a little bit too late. By the time I arrive in town, and probably the sun's going to be set. But I am going to West Virginia
Seeing
for
those
the
country
first time
roads
ever.
you get on there, man.
And it wouldn't be an OH.Report video podcast without mentioning West Virginia.
right.
We
That's
almost
why I
got
brought it
through
up.
an episode.
Got to get yourself an actual pepperoni roll.
I've
Go
been
to
hearing
Little
about
General
these.
Stores. That's one of the convenience stores they have in the state. They give you the legit stuff, and then next week when you come back, you gotta let me know your report on that. You're gonna stay at a frequented place of one Dana Holgerson before he left West Virginia for Houston.
Hopefully I bump into Dana at like a blackjack table or something tonight.
Hey, we'll see.
Right.
Best of luck to you though for that, man.
Thank you.
I hope I have a salary after this once you get down.
Oh,
to
I only got
football.
$100 budget. That's all I got in my wallet, and
Well,
that's for
hopefully
2
you
days,
triple
Trav.
it.
So
You know,
who knows?
Maybe you get big.
Could be
roller.
bonuses
Yeah,
coming around.
I like that. Bonuses are great.
Be nice. All right. Well, no bonus action here on the OH.Report video podcast. I think that we've gas-bagged enough. So a big shout-out to all of our guests, per always. Mike Ellis giving us the time. I don't think that he really loves doing interviews, but he was willing to jump on here and
He
chit-chat
loves
with
to
us.
show off his team, though.
As he should. They got a great team, great players, and they always knew, I think, deep down, that they could do what they're doing now. Just what Warriors? Why couldn't you do it like in the month of May at the beginning or something? That was kind of some of the criticism. But hey, doesn't matter once you get into the tournament. I mean, what would you rather have? Would you rather be Shelby Whippets and posting that MOAC championship banner,
Well,
or the
actually-
Final Four banner? Come on.
I'd like to be Ontario because, say Ontario does finish better, gets like a 2 or 3 seed, they go to the top of the bracket. They play Clear Fork for a third straight time, and Clear Fork beats them. It doesn't. They played the map that they had, Perkins, where they were able to come back. They just had the matchup. So you never know. If you're a higher seed, maybe they go against Bellevue, and like what Bellevue did to Clear Fork, they get upset. So things happen for a reason, and I think it's set up perfectly for Ontario to get that momentum through the districts, and it just rolled over against the better teams in the regional as well.
So come out, support those Warriors Wednesday night out at Marshall Park, and we'll be there live streaming. So jump on and tell us why you think Ontario's going to win the state championship, or we still got the Lex boys in the building that they say not so much, and hey, tell us otherwise. Hey, what? Oh.
Is that
Nice.
a crying
I can't-
pepperoni roll?
I can't even. Is that what it is? Is that what the peppery?
That's sun.
Oh, I was gonna say, is that if that's what I'm gonna be digesting tonight, I might
That
pass.
looks like a hush puppy.
Well, hey,
hush puppies are good.
you are
too.
what you eat, Trav. So let's go ahead
we'll
and
see.
hush this puppy here and say goodbye to our audience. I got to get on the road, but we'll see ya this weekend in Akron. That's right. OH.Report baseball. And then Travis looking like
That's not that burnt.
like a peanut.
I don't know. AI is just messing.
He's
with me,
crispy.
man.
He just came out the oven.
Yeah.
Okay. So long for now.
Goodbye.